Hey geeks, thanks for joining in on tonight's Geek Culture Live podcast. We're coming to you live from the studio. You can find us on Instagram, SoundCloud, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You're looking for Geek Culture 007, Geek Culture Official, or Geek Culture Live. So tonight, we got to talk about Predator. We got to talk about Shane Black. We got to talk about a series that had a lot of potential and then just went down the crapper really quick.
Really bad.
Really quick.
It's like, you know what? Before you got here, Lewis, I actually told Jonathan, whatever you do, you can skip freaking Predator. You can skip it. You know, just don't go see it. You know what? Maybe when it comes on cable, you can take you can take a gander, but don't waste your money.
So is it like a red box kind of deal, or even not even that?
Well, apparently from Diego's perspective, it's not. I thought it was leaked. Here's the thing. So we got the three guys. Jonathan's the only one that didn't see it. My three takes of this. It was entertaining because there were several scenes where I was like, damn.
Well, yeah, and you are right. It was entertaining. It was entertaining. It kind of, you know,
it was funny, even though you didn't want comedy to be in there. Because trust me, I was like, why is there so much comedy in this film? But it was funny.
That's the question I have.
And I did chuckle. You know, there were times I did chuckle, but when you know what what past Predator movies were about, it just seemed to be
it tainted it for you.
You know what? It just seemed like a mixed bag of like, what am I watching, or like what?
That's a good analogy.
This movie just never had an identity. The Predator movie always had an identity. You know, and then this one just seemed to lose itself. Like, are you trying to be a comedy? Are you trying to be?
It was a mixing bowl of everything.
Yeah.
Because then you bring in Key's son, so you have the Key's generation still involved in the movie.
His character or his actual son?
No, it says it's his son.
Oh, okay.
It's actually Gary Busey's son playing Keyes Jr.
Okay.
So there's that. And then you have Olivia Munn, which the idea of her character was sound. A biologist that gets involved with the government, great. But for her to go from a biologist to somebody that knows how to use tactical weapons, you lost us.
Yeah, you lost it. Okay, yeah, it was bad. You know what? Let's just start it from the get-go. When you first, again, for those who haven't watched it, this is spoilers, all right? And I'm not going to say spoiler alert, but I'm just going to say it's going to come out, okay? First thing you see is two ships following each other. I started, I was like, what? And it kind of looked Star Trek-y, right? And you see one ship get hit by another ship, and it goes into the, I guess, Earth's realm or whatever.
First it jumps through a warp.
Yeah, it jumps through a warp. You know, and almost similar to like
a wormhole.
Yeah, like a wormhole
or Stargate.
I saw a lot of Star Trek in there.
Now, that being said, was the CGI bad at least? Or, good or
the
bad?
entire movie.
Yeah.
The CGI was that bad?
For having a franchise that has the reputation where you know they can get funding for it, the freaking CGI was horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the strike number one is that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it lands, or when not lands, but it actually
crashes.
It actually crashes, and I don't know. It's like you see, all of a sudden it goes into the main character. I don't know his. I don't remember
his name.
I don't know the actor's name.
See, there's the other thing.
But he's playing a sniper.
Yeah.
It's not a Marine Corps sniper. It's a.
They don't even designate it. I'm guessing, I guess Army.
Leave it like.
But there's another thing. Those characters weren't so important that you knew their name at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
We knew Dutch.
Yes.
At the end of Predator.
Well, you know what? I know his name was Matt McClendon or something like that.
Yeah, there you go, McClendon.
Yeah, Matt.
So they weren't memorable characters, any of them.
The only memorable character was actually the little boy that was in there. But the only reason why we know because of what's we're gonna talk about it later, because of his disability. But the thing is, anyways, so you get there and then all of a sudden this guy. I guess the hero of the movie, or the protagonist, right? He obtains the mask, and he obtains
The gauntlet.
The gauntlet. No, I won't say gauntlet, but like what do you call it when he works in
That like strap he had on his wrist.
your
or whatever.
epaulet? I don't know that epaulet. Epaulet's up here, but I forgot what you
Like
call
the
it.
control of it or whatever.
Yeah, it's what they wear on the forearm. And so, anyways, so he's taking it, but then all of a sudden you see the predator that he's gonna that he stole it from, and all of a sudden this guy is just Billy Badass.
So I'm assuming that's the ship was chasing him because he stole something.
The super predators
Yeah.
hunting him,
Okay.
and you don't find out what he stole until the end of the movie.
Yeah, until the end of the movie. Okay, so the second ship right behind the one that shoots the first ship, that's supposed to be the ship with the super predator. Okay, and then you got the one ship that gets hit. That's supposed to be the predator that we first meet.
Okay.
So that's predator that you actually see
On the movie.
in the trailer.
Okay.
All right, and then so he steals it. You don't know what's going on. Like what's all this about? You know, the mask and everything. He then ships it to
Home.
He ships it home, but he ships it to his ex-wife's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Where his kid's at, and then his
Yeah.
kids find it, and because the kid is on the spectrum, he's actually able to decode the predator language and the phonics.
That's pretty advanced.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, they kind of explain it because the thing is, the kid is like he plays on like I guess an autistic.
He's on the spectrum.
Yeah. You know, he plays an autistic guy, autistic kid, so he's able to read language and he's able to like almost like.
So he's like a savant almost.
You know,
but
almost
he's-
like you know, remember Rayman when
Yeah.
he was able to figure things out.
Yeah.
There's a scene in there where these two kids, they do the fire alarm and then they go in there and mess up all these chess pieces. Well, this kid can actually memorize where all the chess pieces were at before. He took a look, one look, but he can actually memorize where each piece was last.
So he's got, was it an
Yeah.
idolic memory or
So when he finally gets the package, he's curious. He sees all this language where he's able to map out this language. So he's okay. This fits here. This fits there. This fits there. Okay, so as you get going, well, the thing is, the sniper gets put on this bus. I guess it's called the unit. And it's all you know is that he's put on this unit, and it's a unit of misfits. All right, and it's what you see on the trailer. Is what you see on the trailer. There's one black guy named Nebraska. That one I do remember. Then you have the other one. He's supposed to. That's Keys.
Peel.
Key Peele. You know Keenan
Yeah.
Peele. Okay, well he's supposed to be a Marine Corps. I guess Marine Corps vet, right? Because he had the jacket and it said Marine Corps.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah. So it said that, and then you're supposed to have this guy with Tourette's. You're supposed to have this,
that was Thomas Jane.
Yeah, that was Thomas Jane, right? Then you have this Hispanic guy, and he
Loco.
was known as Nunez, or I forgot what his damn name is. And then you had this other guy, and have you ever seen Game of Thrones? I just had the damn name. He was the one that got castrated.
That narrows it down.
Yeah. I forgot his name, but anyways, he's supposed to play a sniper.
So all these
Yeah.
so all these people are
So-
part of a unit that's like a tactical unit.
Well,
No,
what they are
no.
is they're disabled vets that are going to the loony bin.
Oh, okay.
But they don't end up at
Yeah.
the loony bin, which is very interesting. They end up at the facility where the freaking predator is being held.
Yeah.
Okay.
The story jumps all over the place.
Yeah, it jumps in. Like, how does he get on? Because the thing is that they, the government wanted to put him, send him off, to prison or send him off, to the loony bin so that no one cares about him. They, you know what? But then when you see I guess the villain of the movie, I wouldn't say the villain, but it wasn't the predator, but it was actually a government guy, played by.
I don't even know,
But he was annoying. He was just annoying
from the start.
From the start.
So he wasn't menacing. He was just
No,
a problematic
yeah.
first character.
It was horribly played.
Yeah.
For the role that he had, you recognize it from other movies, and I wish I could pull one out of my head really quick, but he did not play that role the way it should have been. There was too much dialogue from him.
And you know what? And it tried to play into that '80s realm, those quick one-liners, but it was just horrible one-liners, and it his character was just so overly annoying that you wanted him to die. Like, just someone kill this character, not because you hated the guy. You just it was just annoying. Just kill the guy, kill the son of a bitch. And when he dies, it's so stupid.
He's twice annoying, if not more, than Keys was in
Yeah.
part 2. Because remember, you didn't like Keys. Even though Keys came in, he was respectful and he was trying to be professional. And then him and Danny Glover butted heads. And then once Danny Glover shows up at the site, then he becomes an annoying prick.
Yeah.
This guy was twice as annoying as that, if not more.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, Shane Black, who actually comes in the original Predator. He's the one with the glasses.
Yeah, I know. His name blank.
Hawkins.
Yeah, he plays Hawkins, right? Okay, he's a director, and the thing is, I mean, he took a franchise, just like Lewis said, took a franchise that had some substance and just
slaughtered it.
And the thing is, you know what? In my opinion, this is the worst Predator movie.
Honestly, because I didn't like the Rodriguez Predators. I wasn't really wild about it.
That one was tolerable.
That one.
Now compared to this, it is.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I'm saying.
I actually like that Predator movie because it had the same feel as the original. You know what? I didn't like Predator 2. I didn't like that one because it took it. I see where it tried to put it in the city, but it just some of the dialogue and some of the action scenes, it was so unbelievable. It almost had a RoboCop feel, and
it did.
And they tried to put it in the Predator. You're like, no, that's not what the Predator is about.
It would have been better had they eliminated. I think most of this. I mean, I liked all the actors, but had they eliminated all the police force actors, the majority, it would have been better had the military was in the city looking for them. That whatever that team was that Gary Busey was part of. That would have made more sense instead of having all the cops and their drama going on with the gangs and this and that. Yeah. It was like, no,
and
it's too
especially
much,
that gang fight in Predator 2, that looked just over the top. Like that looks like Civil War or like anarchy. I just didn't like it. Yeah, but you know what? It had a good concept. It's just its execution. Anyways, getting back to the Predator, it was all over the place. The editing was bad. The dialogue was bad. And again, it was
CGI was bad.
Well, you know what? It wasn't too bad.
Oh, come on, dude! That 11-foot Super Predator just looked rough.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad at all.
God, that was bad.
It wasn't bad. However, it did look. If you ever seen Man of Steel, okay, you know that big menacing guy that's next to Fiora. That's supposed to be.
Remember, you had Zod, Ursula, and what was?
Oh God, I can't remember.
The third one. It was him.
Yeah, it was not Zord.
No.
Anyways,
so it's supposed to be the other.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the other. Okay, remember
Non. Non.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. But you remember in Man of Steel how big he was? Okay, that's how big this Predator was. It's supposed to be 11-foot Predator. Okay, however, there was a good concept behind it. I gotta give it that. Okay, and the concept was, okay, you know how all the Predator movies where you take out the spine, and you always see the spine, right? You always see
of the human or the tool they hunt or whatever.
So what the thing was is that what they'll take DNA from all these people or not
species,
species,
whoever they're hunting or whatever.
Whoever they're hunting, and they want to make actually
a supreme being,
like a supreme being.
The Predators do.
Yeah,
yes.
The Predators do.
Okay.
But see, that was an add-in because the culture was fine with what was established in 1 and 2. That it was a trophy case. He's a hunter. He wants trophies.
That made more sense.
That was established. Shane Black took it to the next level, which I agree is kind of cool. They weren't, but they didn't say it like that. If they would have said not only were they taking trophies, but they were also genetically enhancing themselves, yes, I would have been like, that's fucking brilliant. But they didn't do that. They just went with the whole, they're enhancing their species.
How did they know that?
Oh, they had test files. They had found vials.
Well, because the thing is that when they, Olivia Munn's character, and we'll get into her. Olivia Munn's character is that what ended up happening is that she finds human DNA. She finds human DNA because the thing is they took some blood sample.
Okay.
So, took this blood sample, and guess what? You know what?
The Predator blood sample.
In the Predator blood sample.
Was it glowing?
It's glowing.
And it smelled, apparently.
Yeah. And she goes, hey, this blood sample has human DNA. So what's going on? And they were finding other DNA in this. So, oh shoot, they're you know what? They're trying to enhance. You know what? And then which goes to our, I guess the 80s, realm, to where like they're
genetically
how the Russians were and the Germans were genetically enhancing. You know what? This species is no different, and you know what? They're trying to be the ultimate species, right?
So that
So
my thing is, they could have said that's our theory. You know what I mean? Unless they knew for a fact they were doing that. That's
So therefore they get they actually make the Super Predator what you're gonna see in the movie, and it's kind of cool. It's a cool concept, but its execution in the movie is just like, oh my god.
Did you think that was lame? I thought that little flashback where they showed the Super Predator being made, I just kind of thought it was lame.
No, it wasn't lame at all. But again, what I found lame was freaking Olivia Munn's character. Again, no disrespect to her. It's just that, again, you going straight to you see Olivia Munn's character. She's supposed to be a scientist.
Biologist.
Like a biologist, right?
But then she's tactical. She becomes tactical in an instant.
There's no training. That's where I get pissed off. It's like, dude,
it would have been better had she just been one or the other, not both.
Well, the thing that they don't want to do is they don't want her to be the damsel in distress. They want to make her strong, but they're doing it the wrong way. I fail to believe that they never seen Tomb Raider or Aliens or Ghostbusters. Did you not watch Sigourney Weaver growing up? She went from being a victim in part 1 to being a woman that would take no shit. Then she joined the Colonial Marines, and she's like, no, we're acting. She didn't ever play the victim after that.
Yeah.
She grew into that. These women, Ray, and now Olivia Munn's character, and who else, they just become these superheroes overnight.
Yeah, like, without development, without training.
Nothing.
It's like, hey, because the thing is, there's, again, Busey's character, go get him. And she takes a damn tranquilizer gun, following this damn creature, just knowing that, this creature just freaking slaughtered a whole damn freaking, a building of people, right? Taking out freaking soldiers left and right. Or, and the thing is, she has no fear.
Yeah, so how does she stand a chance when...
she grows, she grows the nerve. Again, like Diego said, after watching tactically trained individuals get slaughtered, she's sitting in the corner and then she gets her nerve. And now I'm going to take out the Predator. Really? Okay, yeah. I believe that.
Yeah, and then it's like another thing, which was a cool concept, but they went with it wrong. They say, you know what, the Predator is not actually a predator, because like based on what you're telling me, it's actually just sport. A
sports hunter.
Yeah, a sports hunter, because the thing is, a predator actually eats.
Oh, is that like the commercial that's seen?
Like hunts, but he actually eats the freaking his prey.
But see, the predators do eat this, so that was wrong. I got what they were saying. I thought it was cool too. I was like, well, that does make sense.
Yeah.
But in Predator 2, they established that he was eating beef. He doesn't always eat human, but he can eat human. Yeah. But he was in the warehouse because he eats beef. In this one, the Super Predator took a bite out of some of the guys. When he pulled him up into the tree, he bit his face. So it kind of it negates what they were saying, because he's hunting, but he did eat him. He did.
And again, so
they didn't want to make him just indiscriminately slaughtering creatures, basically, or just.
But where I found it really bad is like, I wanted to see Olivia Munn's character kind of develop, as Lewis saying, develop, but also play that scientist. You know what, she's finding things. You see her studying, but man, she had an answer like right then and there. Like, man, how the hell are you figuring this out?
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
I was like,
how did she? That's why I asked you. How did she know that they were taking the genetic? It's like,
it just seemed like everything's happening too fast to be entertaining.
But to give him credit, they actually started the movie like that, because look at how we started, going way back to where you started. You got two ships chasing, and if you already knew just a little bit about this movie, you knew there was a rogue and there was a super. You didn't know what was going on, but you knew that. And so the title of Rogue means, okay, he must be escaping. So we start off like that. Boom, these two ships are chasing each other. Boom, they go through a warp hole. Boom, they're at Earth. We're like, whoa. Yeah. I immediately like, whoa, shit's moving way too fast. And that's the entire movie. It's just like, boom, she figured out the genetics. Boom, this kid solved this problem. Boom, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. And let's get into the unit itself. It was the unit itself, and again, quite honestly, you didn't care who died. Like who died or
forgettable
not.
character.
Again, because in the first movie, you know what? In every single movie, in every single Predator movie, you see how everyone's getting picked off one by one, and by one. Here, no one was getting picked off. It was like, what the hell's going on here?
Well, they saved it for the last part.
And then they save it for the last. But the thing is, none of these characters, again, like were memorable. But but they were annoying. Again, going to Peele's character, yeah, he was a comic, he was a comic relief. But the thing is, there was a purpose to it. Like say for example, they needed to escape out of the bus. Yeah, we need to get out of this bus because we need to move because if not, we're gonna be facing scare. So what you see in the trailer when that. I guess he gives that look.
Yeah, that like
comical
look,
like that comical look. Well, that's him trying to cause create a diversion, in which they do create a diversion, and they take over the bus. But as they go to the ex-wife's house, then it becomes the annoying comic. The annoying comedy.
So he was forcing the comedy or his lines. I guess that's the comic, or all of them were.
It just didn't belong in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was my question when I asked him was in the trailer there were two things. That was one of them was it felt based on Predator movies I have seen from the beginning till current. The Predators or Predator movies, it seems like they're not really horror, more like sci-fi, but like a thriller. So there never really is any need for comedy, basically. And so when I saw this trailer with the Predator trailer, it's like, why is he doing a comic bit? That's what didn't hit me. I was like, what is this about? The other thing was, already quick, I touched on it. This Super Predator, either the angle he shot that at or filmed it at, he looks like he's about 15 feet tall in that one scene. Well, it's like, that's like way out of the norm realm.
I mean, again, it's 11 foot.
But still, that's huge, man. If they would have just made him 9 foot, that's enough. That's imposing enough. Yeah. Well, the thing I want to ask you about the Super Predator, and then I wanted to address an issue that I read online about Munn. So with the Super Predator, did you like this design better than the Super Predator design in the Rodriguez film?
Are you talking about the main Predator?
In the Rodriguez film, he was red and he had all this.
The really tall.
You know what? No, I actually liked the Rodriguez Predator. Like that one I liked.
That Super Predator, you actually liked that design? Yeah. He had an elongated head.
But the thing is, it was tangible. You know what? You see a guy in costume. That's what I mean by tangible. Right here, it's CGI. You're like, but it was the concept. The concept is cool. It's just the CGI was just like.
Off.
But you know what? But it was off. But the thing is, it wasn't like some say it was throughout the movie. I really didn't see it throughout the movie. The only time I actually saw it throughout, like man, this thing's bad.
Is every time you saw the Super Predator?
No. Not like for me, it was the beginning, and then like for me is when he killed the Predator, when he beheaded him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's Pred. But where it was really bad, the CGI. Is those damn dogs. Yeah. I was like, oh god, these dogs are awful.
That and they had dreads, dude. I was like, why? Why do the dogs have to have dreads?
I had read a thing about. I saw that they had those.
These dogs. I mean, these Predator dogs. I don't know. They looked. I mean, like I could have sworn I go. Man, I've seen this style in another movie. I just can't picture the movie, but it was.
So were they awful. Like hunting dogs? Like
they basically like they were tracking dogs.
They turned out to be
like to flush out people and stuff.
They were much less threatening than a freaking Rottweiler. You get more.
But the dogs that were just really badass were the Rodriguez. Was that Rodriguez?
Yeah, the spiked ones. Those were 10 times better.
Yeah, and the thing is that what was so cool is like what I love about that movie is when what's his name, Adrian Brody. And Adrian Brody's character, and he actually puts out, we just got flushed out. You know what? They send the dogs in, and we got exposed, and I go, that's freaking cool.
Yeah, all that tactical knowledge from Adrian Brody. Yeah.
It was believable.
It was believable. Yeah. You know what? And
well, like when he tells is that the same scene where when they have the guy making the sound like help me or what's his name?
Danny Trejo.
Yeah. He goes, don't go, it's a trap. That's what because I would do that kind of deal. So it made sense that he had done something like that. He knew what the tactic was, and he was warning them, don't, stay away from it, basically.
Yeah, and with this one, man, those dogs were just horrible. And then, one of them gets shot in the head, I guess it cleared them, right? Well, then now they're playing fetch with this damn dog.
Yeah, the one dog gets killed, the other one gets a nail to the head, And so it works the same way like a human mind. If you compromise one lobe of the brain, it resets you. So that's what it did. I got that. That was easy. It reset the dog. They must have compromised, the lobe that makes him ferocious, and now he's like, fetch this or whatever. It was a little hokey. I agree.
When you said that, I've seen this movie, I would have been like, no, that knee does not need to be in
it was, again, when you go back to the Rodriguez film, I mean, those dogs.
Yeah, they had one purpose.
No, those dogs were vicious.
No playing around. They were gonna get your ass.
Hell yeah.
They had one purpose and one purpose only, not two.
And so.
let's.
Okay. Well, let's talk about before we get into the
Super Predator. Yeah. So the Mun thing. One thing that people were pointing out online about Mun is the final scene where the ship takes off and the two soldiers are on the ship and she got left behind. So the ship's flying for miles, but yet Mun shows up to kill the Predator. And the people are like, how the hell did that happen? The ship took off, left her here, but when it crashes, you see her in there, and you're like, that doesn't...
What that means is poor producers or whoever was in charge of the continuity of the movie just didn't pay attention. That's
you know what was annoying me? Okay, which we'll get into the Super Predator. What I liked about the Super Predator, this Predator, this Predator's not freaking playing around. There was one part which was pretty cool. Remember when he just, he goes down in the basement and he just, he's just stabbing this guy.
Oh yeah, that was badass.
He stabbed this guy maybe what,
so
6-7 times.
Shaking him prisoner.
Yeah,
prisoner
shaking him oh damn, my son. I had my son with me. I said, you know what, you're gonna see a rated R movie with me. So let's go. And it was and he was all like, oh wow, and you see this guy, you see this Predator, splitting people in half, gutting, it's like you see guts coming out, which was cool. Now, when it comes to Olivia Munn's character, man, he was throwing her around and she's not getting hurt. It's like, what the shit? It's like, wait a minute, again,
not believable.
Again, what we're talking about. It's like, dude, you see this, you see this Super Predator just killing every freaking thing left and right.
Well,
when it came to Olivia Munn's character, throwing her against rocks, and her back's not breaking. It's
or cut up, or
cut up.
Well, what about when the Rogue left her? She was naked in the shower, and the Rogue sees her and then just walks away. And you try to understand it right then, okay, is it a female Predator? Did he understand that she was a female? Did he care? Did it matter?
No, because you got to go back to part 1. Remember, as long as that
she wasn't combatant.
It was a combatant. Didn't have a gun. Again, she was there, crawled up,
naked.
Threat level was low, 0. I'm not going to kill this one.
Okay.
So that's where that goes. That's where that comes from.
Okay.
It wasn't based on gender.
Oh.
But it's just that everything was just annoying. Now, however, like you said, the movie moves so fast is that you were never bored. It's like, man, this thing is moving, but it's moving at a pace where it's enjoyable maybe for the kids, and if you just want to go see it, you just want to be
a popcorn movie, an entertaining movie.
But again, it's a real forgettable movie.
And then the final part, the attempt to bridge it for a sequel, provided that this one does well, which I didn't get to look at the numbers before we came, to the show, was the suit. They have a Predator suit.
So the whole purpose is that this rogue Predator knew what other I guess his species was doing, making an ultimate predator, and I guess he felt that this is wrong, and I need to take it to another, I need to take it to, to another,
a weaker species,
different species. Hey, this is how you fight this predator.
Okay.
So what it looked like this. What are those ships in the Terminator? Those.
What, the HK?
Yeah, right. Those hunter killers. When it popped up, it looked like a hunter killer, right?
Oh, the thing that popped out of it.
Yeah.
But then it had all the goo, and you're like, is there an alien in there? What the hell's going on?
You know what? I thought it was Dutch. I was like, is Dutch gonna come out?
Oh wow.
I was like, but anyway, so so anyways, this little thing came out. It's all gooey. Then it sees a scientist. It hooks onto the scientist, and it becomes this this suit.
It was an exoskeleton suit, a Predator exoskeleton suit, and then of course he's got these 2 big cannons that pop out too. So
he looks like not Iron Man. What's the other one? War Machine.
No.
Yeah.
You know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of Spider-Man with the
legs,
with the legs on the back. That's what it looked
So
like.
okay, hooked onto a sign to Olivia Munn or to
what was that
No, thank God it was a different scientist.
What was it? What was that suit? It was I guess in Infinity War, right? I think he had the
Iron Spidey suit. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, the Iron Spidey suit.
Now, it looked like War Machine, but the thing was, when you think about it, those cannons were extended versions of the plasma cannon. Dude, the plasma cannon established in Part 1 was always a great piece of weaponry / armor. And then you go and amplify it and make it look like, War Machine cannons. You're
like they jumped the shark.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Shane Black completely jumped the shark. And the thing was, people have said it for years, so obviously Shane Black doesn't read the comments online. Obviously, the studios aren't paying attention to what the fan base wants. All the fans have asked for years, we want to see Predator versus Alien. We want no human contact. And then people are saying that online. Why are there so many humans in there? You need fodder. I realized that when they went to the lab. All the body, you need fodder. You need fodder for the Predator. If the Predator isn't killing something, this movie's not interesting. So that's what the human element is there's fodder. But you can still have a Predator movie on an alien planet. You just kill a bunch of aliens. But people are tired of the human component. We want to see a foreign planet. That, the whole thing, and unfortunately...
Well, you know what? But what I'm tired of is not really what they're talking about. I'm tired of, movies dumbing it down.
Yeah.
It was almost like I could take my kid.
That's exactly what it is.
My 11-year-old enjoyed this movie more than I did.
Because it's for them. A lot of action, quick pace. Let's explode this. This thing is huge. People that think would be like, no, Olivia Munn is not both. No, this shouldn't be happening this way. No, this is not feasible. Whatever it is. People who think, it's like you said, they dumb it down because action and dumb and all that is for people to say, oh, this is a great movie to go see. No, it means you don't want to think at all. I understand that concept, but you can't have no thought at all. That's just ridiculous, man. I mean, why even go to the movie then?
And see, there's a lot more I would like to get into, but we've already spent half an hour on the Predator, so we're gonna have to move on to our other topics. But again, it's entertaining enough for a popcorn Sunday matinee, or if you want to wait until it hits the red box, call the guys over, and then just watch it and then dissect it. And you'll probably be saying the same things that we're saying to you right now during the podcast.
Like this movie should have been something else, and it wasn't. Again, if you decide to do another Predator movie, but you know what? Like it had that Independence Day Part 2 feel. That
that was bad.
It was bad. And it had that feel to it.
That's not a winning endorsement.
The worst thing about Independence Day 2 was the gigantic queen.
Yes.
That was the worst thing. I was just like, this is stupid. This is stupid. Yeah, going into Predator, I was wondering if I was going to walk out. I was like, am I going to walk out? But it's entertaining enough to at least keep you in the seat. And the only time that you facepalm is at the end when the mech suit comes out and you're like, okay. All right, I'm done.
And that's how it ends, just with a suit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there?
Well, again, the main character goes, "Oh, suit me up." You know what that is? That's my suit. Suit me up or something. Like that.
Yeah, suit me up.
Some stupid line,
No,
right?
Sorry.
I'm done.
Thank you.
I'm done.
So before we get into Netflix, do you guys have any questions about White Boy Rick?
I kind of know the story. It's based on a true story
It's
about
based on
an
a true
informant,
story.
right? He was like an informant. Or he was a drug dealer, I think, or something, but he became an informant.
Well, real quick, summary of it is that he was a kid living in rough Detroit, and I mean, this is rough. We grew up in the hood, but man, this is way rougher than what we grew up in. He's around, drugs and gangs and stuff like that, and the FBI forces him, because he didn't want to get involved, but the FBI forces him to turn informant / drug dealer. And so he does, and the cool thing is, as how I understood it, he actually never gave up any of the crew. Even though he was an informant, he actually never gave it up. What led to the people that he knew going to prison was one of their drug houses talked. They got popped and they're like, hey, this guy, and this guy. But they thought he did it, so they went after and tried to kill him. The people that he worked with. The drug dealers that he worked with, They went after him and tried to kill him. Well, then after that happens and they all go to prison, he fills the void and he starts, doing the drugs, selling the drugs in the neighborhood. But the thing is, the trailer really sold it as a glamorous thing, like rags to riches. In the movie, it's nothing like that. The only reason I went and saw this movie, Matthew McConaughey. Bankable star. I've seen most of his movies. I'll be there, every time. Nope. After seeing this movie, I was just like, yeah, I would rather watch Dallas Buyers Club 5 times in a row before I go back to see White Boy Rick. It wasn't interesting at all. I mean,
so it's slow and boring? Or?
Yeah, I mean, even American Gangster. American Gangster was a more interesting movie from rags to riches than White Boy Rick. Was there some good acting in there? Sure. Will it get some Oscar nods? I'm not imagining it will get a lot, but there was 1 or 2 that I thought stood out. But again, as for being a McConaughey movie, I was actually disappointed.
Can't all be winners.
So, you were saying the Iron Fist 2 wasn't a winner. Talk to me. What didn't you like?
Ugh. I'm telling you now, stay away from it. It is that slow, that painful, and I bailed on the series. That's how bad it was. It is so ass-dragging slow. I mean, dog on a carpet in your living room dragging slow.
Okay, is it slower than Walking Dead? I mean, again, I guess the last 3 seasons. The last 3 seasons are just slow.
Well, okay, this is how I base it on slow. I watched the first Iron Fist series. And at the end of that one, there's a lot of things going on, and you kind of understand, like, okay, it's kind of like a cliffhanger. So you're ready to go with this next one, like, okay, well, it wasn't the best of series, but you're going to this next one, okay, let's start building upon what the cliffhanger was. And every single cliffhanger from the end of last season, or the end of the previous season, is just, like, drug on. Like, they didn't
answer.
Yeah, like they don't start to answer it, and I mean, like I said, I didn't watch any more episodes of it, but it's so painfully slow. And when you see the 2 of the main villain characters come out, you're thinking, okay, so let's find out what's going to happen with them. You don't find out, anything. Like they don't even really adhere or
touch
talk
it again.
About, yeah, and it's like, what is going on here? And then the main character, they talk about him and his girlfriend. It's almost like Danny Rand is not whiny anymore, but he's just not
interesting.
Yeah, I can't even explain. It was horrible. I told him, I got up, washed the dishes, came back, didn't miss a damn thing, sat down for another 10 minutes, and I said, there's no way I can keep watching this. It is that bad. It is that bad. And I don't know who they have writing this. They need to fire him because it was horrible. Beyond horrible.
Well, the thing is, you were saying that fans are loving it.
Online, I'm reading fans.
I don't see how. I really don't.
Do you think it's maybe it's just the first episode that's just like,
well,
that, or
I don't know. Some people I've talked to have said they don't like it either. Like it's really dragging. It's slow. It doesn't answer a lot, and they're like 4 or 5 episodes in. And they even told me, I just stopped watching it. What does that tell you? I stopped at 1. They stopped at 5 in because they were like, no damn way. I don't want to watch this anymore.
Well, I like to look at the big picture with this. I haven't had the chance to watch the Cage series or what's the chick one?
Jessica Jones.
The Jessica Jones or any of the Netflix. I don't have Netflix. I still need to get that up and running. But for me, looking at the big picture, loving what Marvel's done the last 10 years, I would like to see the studio look at their smaller projects and not ignore them, not just treat them as a subscription, but look at it. How can we tie all of this into the big thing? Now, I'm not asking for them to have the characters jump from the small screen to the big screen. That's not what I want. But I wanna look back at your anthology and be like, make the connections. Like, okay, that's where this puzzle piece fits in. That's where this fits in. They don't have to be. I don't have to see. What'd you say, Johnny Rand or? Danny Rand. I don't have to see him in a Marvel movie. I don't need that.
But they could have. What they should have done is instead of have this series. I mean, I get why they made a series for all of them, but they could have just made 5 individual movies for Netflix only, and that would have been fine, and they would have been much more better. Because the Daredevil series was a good series, both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
These other ones, they're hit and miss, and some of them are parts of them are good, and then this and that. Luke Cage, the first series, it kind of like had its ups and downs. The second one had a better villain. Jessica Jones, it really that storyline is forever it takes forever. This Iron Fist one, oh my God, please stop. Whoever is writing that, fire them immediately. Or move them to something else because God,
Be merciful, John. We're talking about people's jobs.
Okay, well then get some other better writers to help these people because this is
Put that guy back on the
horrible.
comics.
Yeah, it was horrible, man. I was like, who wrote this dialogue? Why are you having to go this way? These people don't make any sense. This whole concept doesn't make any sense. It played out like a really bad version of the TV show Dallas. That's how that episode went. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Or Knots Landing or something like that.
See, the Marvel movies are the standard. That's the gold standard, you know, and they've had I'd say about 5 misses, right? 3 for sure, 5 in total. 5 that just weren't great movies like everything else.
Can you name those for us?
You gotta put me-
Okay, no, because I'm still with you.
Iron Man 3,
Iron Man 3.
Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and what do you want to? Spider-Man: Homecoming and Civil War.
Those are the ones that are best.
No,
Oh, the worst.
no, the least.
Okay, well.
Iron Man 3 is the worst, but Iron Man 3 is at the bottom of the freaking barrel. Civil War wasn't what it was supposed to be, and then they've almost acted like it never happened. You know, it happened, but not enough occurred where in the comics it was such a groundbreaking, story-altering series. Thor Ragnarok, you know, Diego has always said it took Guardians of the Galaxy and slapped Thor's series and the Guardians together. Boom, here you go. And I understand that they had to meet, but we really wanted to see the Thor series finish off in the environment that they had created. Yeah. It had such a unique feel to it. I wanted to see that finish, and then you could have crossed them over. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it had so much opportunity because people loved the first one so much, but it was just a film to showcase why Peter had this strength and who Peter's father was. Yay, we got Kurt Russell in a Marvel movie. Hey, trust me, I love Kurt Russell. I'm glad he was in a Marvel film, but that's not how I wanted to see it go out. Same thing with Stallone. Stallone, Marvel film, so awesome. That's not how I wanted to see it play out. What were the other ones that we... Spider-Man: Homecoming. Dude, Spider-Man, for the longest time, was Marvel's biggest selling property on a live-action movie. You know, the first 3 were great. The new Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield were okay. And then now you got Tom Holland, which is a great Spider-Man, but the story and the way it went was, Sure, you got Michael Keaton, and that was great, but it wasn't as interesting as we wanted. And then, the studio's not listening. We want to see the Sinister Seven, or we want to see the symbiotes. Give us one or the other. Give us the Sinister Seven, or give us the symbiotes. Don't keep drip feeding us Doc Ock and what the Electro and Rhino and Sandman and the Lizard.
I'm still waiting for the Goblin to actually
be the Goblin.
Be the Goblin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for.
So see, they're mismanaging their properties.
Yeah.
They're trying to adapt the comic to the movie, and it's hard. I give it that. But at the same time, I'm with you. They need to just up the game already.
But in your point, again, which I've been saying, again, better writing. But the thing is, there needs to be a balance, guys. There needs to be a balance between action, storytelling, and
minimal comedy.
Minimal comedy. But see, if you're trying to go for that serious realm. But yet, at the same time, you want to pay homage to what those comics were actually meant for little kids. You know what? Yeah, go the serious realm, have some great storytelling, but then throw in your little comic. And that's what made the Avengers, that's what made Iron Man. It was like, you know what? It was a serious tone, but every once in a while, he'll throw in his little freaking smirks. You can actually
little stuff like that, I don't mind, but in this, it's just like...
That's going to be our new term on the cast, dude. Don't Shane Black it. Because instead of taking the salt and pepper shaker and putting in that comedy, he took off the top and he's like, here's some comedy.
Salt lick, just throw it all in there.
Yeah.
Jesus, please don't Shane Black again, your products.
It's like we're going back, you were talking about Spider-Man, and again, we want to see the Spider-Man. That's your biggest seller right there, right? we want to see Spider-Man, and quite honestly,
as Spider-Man,
like,
not as whatever
and again,
version they want to do.
Like you see that video game that just came out, which
The PlayStation 4.
No, for PlayStation 4. I'm looking at the storyline there. I'm like, dude, that's what I want to see. Like, where's that in the film?
And that's the
Why
problem
is the game kicking your film's butt?
Yeah.
They have writers for games, believe it or not. Those writers should be writing some of the scenes, if not the full movie or series, because it doesn't make any sense to a lot of people. Like, why do you go this arc or this storyline? Who gave you free reign or told you this was a good? Especially at Marvel. I mean, come on, they would have been like, these are characters that have been around for a long time. You know, they may be like, let's just say Guardians of the Galaxy. For when they first announced that, people were like, Guardians of the Galaxy, what
Who the hell are they? Yeah.
But it's still, you had to have some respect that, hey, okay, these were a set of characters, let's write them this way. Spider-Man, #1 in their book, more than likely. Iron Fist, not the A-list, but still part of the Defenders and part of that group. Luke Cage, etc. Why are you letting them basically piss all over them the way they're writing?
Well, you said it. You said one word. Respect what you created.
But that's what I'm saying. How does Marvel not say, hey, look, man, you know, this isn't enough to par what we consider our standards. This seems kind of bad.
Question for you. So that's a very interesting statement. I actually made this point online because somebody was talking about, we're talking about the Predator movie, but then I went and used Star Trek as an analogy. The first three Star Wars. The first three Star Wars were a brilliant vision that Lucas had. And then he had the prequels, right? And so where Lucas went wrong, Lucas is what destroyed Star Wars. Lucas did. Lucas destroyed it by differing from the first three. He destroyed it when he divorced his wife because she deserves, 80% of the credit for what we have as New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi because she did the editing. Without her, we wouldn't have what we have. So she deserves so much credit. But anyways, after we got the first three, then he went back and did the prequels, which started to crap all over what we know and love as Star Wars. And then after that, then he sold it to the Mouse House, and now it's just a joke.
Yeah.
So, they were blaming, what's her name, Kathleen Kennedy from Disney. I was like, no, it's Lucas's fault that Star Wars went to shit. So my question is the same with Marvel. It almost feels like after Marvel got bought by Disney, everything is kind of getting watered down.
Yeah, it's getting watered down. But again, like what I'm saying, you're dumbing down these movies for the kid. I go, quit making this movie for the damn kid. And again, to Ryan Reynolds' point, he always mentions, he says this little smirk in his
what
like in his Deadpool movies. He goes, no, we're not gonna. This is not a kiddie team. This is like your.
Well, I was surprised when you said that you took Elijah the Predator because after I watched it, at first I went to watch it to see if it was even worth taking the family to, and then B, I knew the wife didn't want to see it, so I'm like, let me go see it so I can write the review. And then when I saw it, all the profanity, I was like, man, I cuss. There was a lot in there. I was like, damn. And then the little kid dropped an F-bomb. I was like, oh, that's it. I'm not bringing my son to see this. So that was the deciding factor. But again, the kitty thing, we talked about this with Venom. And a lot of people are pissed off right now because Venom got released as a PG-13 instead of R. But here's the thing. Predator was an R. It didn't do anything to help it. The R rating didn't help it. Deadpool being an R didn't exactly help it. We get more gore. We get more action. I'm not really worried about the profanity. I don't need all that profanity in the movie. I want action. I want blood. I want guts. I want severed heads. That's what I want to see. Same thing with Venom. I want to see rims being lifted out. I want to see guts dropping down. I don't care about the profanity, and I'm not very interested in a lot of comedy.
Yes.
That's what remains to be seen, but
it's the balance, It's like, and again, our movies that we loved in the 80s, the 90s, today, right? All these movies that we love, that we cherish, what do they have? They have a perfect balance between comedy, action, violence, and dialogue.
Well, let's touch on the story. So again, and the only reason I'm in a Star Wars kick is because they're playing all of them back to back on TNT, I think it is. Oh. And so, but when you look at it, Lucas introduced us to characters in New Hope, right? We introduced them, don't know them. We learn about it. We learn that Luke Skywalker was adopted, or not adopted, but taken care of by Owen and his wife. We learn about this character Darth Vader. He's the most fearsome Sith in the galaxy or the universe. We learn about the Empire. We learn about the Jedi. We learn that they're a powerful force. So we get introduced to it. In part 2, we get it all. We see technology. We finally experience this imposing force that Darth Vader is. They don't establish it in first one. And when you look at people talk about it, when he fights Obi-Wan, he almost fights him like an old man. You know, people always talk about him huffing and puffing when he's fighting Obi-Wan. In the second one, you don't get it. Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, he already chokes somebody out. And then like 15 minutes later, he chokes out another guy. Then that director really gave us what Star Wars was supposed to be like. Wow, Darth Vader is not to be messed with. Wow, the vehicles in this movie are amazing. Wow, this story, he goes to Dagobah and he starts training with Yoda, and there's so much knowledge and wisdom coming from Yoda. It's the story. The first one was the introduction. The second one sold us. You freaking love Star Wars after the second one. The third one finished off kind of weak. You gave us a great story. We're introduced to Jabba the Hutt, who's been on the lookout for Han Solo since part 1. You see that Luke is close to mastering the Force. You see that Vader's still in it. Now we meet the Emperor. Whoa, who the hell is the Emperor? You know, we were introduced to him, but now the Emperor is imposing. And where we went astray is we went to an alien planet that had these little teddy bears running around. Everybody hates it. Some people love it. But that was a detraction. You know, you were like, it was okay. But you understand it because it's an alien planet. And that's what Lucas gave us. He gave us this vision. These aliens, these creatures, these robots, these cities in the sky. They gave us this imagination that he has. And that's what they're not doing today. And going back
to again, you know, like again, in every movie, all those movies, you can see the balance. I mean, it's like, man, there's so much dialogue, right? But it's good dialogue.
Good dialogue.
It's good dialogue. Like, okay, cool.
It's written well.
Yes, written well. And then you have action, right? You have the action. Then you have death in there, you know. But it's not overly done. It's just balanced. And then you throw in your little comic, you know, like for example, Solo and Chewie are always going at it.
Yeah, that was a comic relief.
You got Solo and
but it wasn't over the top. It was just
Solo and Leia,
or C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah. You know, again, it's just enough to like, you know, just like as any, you know, as like if you were to go to like see a Broadway show,
it's subtle within it.
But when it's just overly done, like say The Predator.
Or Jar Jar Binks or something
Fast
like that.
and Furious or whatever it is.
Well, see, and that's what happened is Lucas went back and he had a budget and he had computer-generated graphics and he created even more and went far away from that. But not only that, he went back and altered the originals and dumbed it down. He put in creatures doing stupid things in the background that we're like, we don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't need that. You know, I was watching, it was, is it A New Hope or is it Empire? Where Solo meets up with Jabba and he's having that conversation. It was A New Hope.
Yeah.
And you know, I never liked that scene at first, and it's starting to grow on me because I was paying attention to the dialogue. I'm like, okay, it works. But even then, it dumbs down because he steps on Jabba, and they're just like, what are you doing? But that's Lucas. But what we were looking at, you know,
they were going more for the visual rather than the tangible, like, you know, someone can listen or understand. It was like, oh, look at all these new visuals. Look, we're stepping on Jabba's tail. Oh, look, these on Empire Strikes Back. You don't have to see through the ship now. It's not hollow or transparent. You know, stuff like that. Those were things that, like you said, we never noticed them as kids. We didn't really care. Also, the technology wasn't there, and it didn't take away from the story. When you started adding all kinds of other stuff like that, what that screamed was, we're not really confident that we can write any better, so let's just flash this in front of you and hope that you'll
like it.
Yeah, you'll be cool with it.
Just to add on to that, George Lucas has mentioned is that he noticed that today's audience. This is, I'm just gonna paraphrase. It's not exact quoting, but he has mentioned that people today are not used to experimental movies, which I kind of find offensive, you know, a little bit. You know, because the thing is, I love experimental movies.
Indie movies, yeah.
You know, it's like, you know what? Like, you know what? Make a movie, but do it. You know what? But don't experiment with the movie.
That's a classic. Or
like, well, I want to say classic, but the thing is, if you're going to make a brand new movie, don't dumb it down.
We can't say that enough.
Yeah.
We're praying to God that Venom isn't dumbed down.
Yeah, just you know what? If you have an idea for a movie, you're like, you know what? I want to see if this works. Because again, you know, like Star Wars was an experimental movie. Let's see if it works. Let's throw it out. But the thing is, one thing they didn't dumb it down. Even though it was kind of hokey, you're doing a cowboy western in space.
Space western.
Yeah, I'm doing a space western. Let's see how it works. But the thing is, you know what? He did it right. And today's directors, what are they doing? They're making it for the kids. It's like, you know, like it feels like I'm watching a movie at a freaking theme park. Yeah. And I don't want to.
Because that's what it is. The attention span is not there, and they treat everybody like you don't know what you're doing, or you can't pay attention to the movie or follow it. And so let's outshine the story with a bunch of special effects and bright lights and, you know, a 11-foot tall predator, you know, and stuff like that. Why don't you just write a good story? How about that? Wouldn't that, if you read a book, your imagination is going by the story. Because it's either a good story or it sucks. That's all there is to it. It's either a good story or it sucks. And if it sucks, you're not going to recommend that book to your friends or your family. And if it's a good one, you're the first one telling everybody, you need to go read this story, or you need to go see this book. Or I can't wait till they do something with it. But if it's like terrible, and the same thing in the movie, oh, the story was not there, and okay, then what the hell do you want to watch it for then? What's the point? I don't understand why they do that. It's like, look, we're not idiots, and the people that are idiots, if you're making the movies for them, then just say that. Just say this is not for thinking people. It's for people that don't.
They can't. That's a PR nightmare right there.
You know, speaking about, you know, like say budget and everything like that, you know, today's collectibles.
Yeah, we wanted to get that the last show, and we definitely get that to this show. So, you know, I've been talking online. I've asked a couple producers, we knew that these tariffs are coming from our government, right? They've imposed 30% tariffs on goods coming from China. We knew that was going to have an effect. What I was trying to get an answer for is on which material exactly is that tariff implied for collectibles, you know, and how much did that change? Because we're seeing a significant jump. We'll use Imaginarium. So they're a Singapore-based company. They're overseas. They produce in China, and then they import to America. Now, their awesome Transformer statues were, on average, about $1,000 to $1,100. Their newest release of Grimlock was being offered by American distributors for $2,400. We went from $1,100 to $2,400. That's a huge jump.
Actually, again, Soundwave, I got it for $9.99.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, like how the hell do you go from there to $2,400?
And so another person that I talked to, that they weren't a producer, they were actually a sculptor, a molder, a painter. They actually hands-on producing these things, not the actual company that actually, you know, gets it put into production. He was saying that it was the cost over there, but he couldn't give me any more detail. So he's saying he said, you know, it is the cost increase, it is the tariffs, it's affecting it, and it's not the companies being greedy. I don't believe that. I want to see numbers, you know, to go from $1,000, $1,100 to $2,400 for a slightly bigger item. And again, I still collect smaller collectibles, Marvel Legends, Funko Pops, stuff like that. I collect that. And I don't see that big price there. I mean, you know, the last price on a Marvel Legend was $20, and that's why I actually. So
you think they're using it as an excuse to just bump the price as
hell
high
yeah.
as they can go? Okay.
Hell yeah. And you know, again, you know, at $2,400, I'm out. I've been collecting statues since 2005, 13 years. I've been collecting statues for 13 years. When I started buying statues, they were $250, and they increased in value because of demand. Now they're increasing in price, and the value and the demand isn't as strong as it was, you know, back in 2005.
Yeah.
So the thing I would say to fans is, I would just say wait. You know, I know they're cool. They look really cool. You want it for collection. But if you want to give up more than what an average mortgage payment is, then go ahead. You know, if you have that kind of flexibility, go ahead. I'm married with 2 kids and a wife. Diego's married with 2 kids and a wife. John's got a wife and a kid. You know, we have responsibilities. We collect, but we collect responsibly.
It's kind of out of the realm of most people's budget. That's all it comes down to. And especially now, if they're cranking it up that much, it's more of a deterrent, and it's going to hurt those companies. At least in the U.S. market, I would think, or anywhere that they have.
But again, we've had this discussion with on plenty of shows. You're asking us to spend like so much money on a like say a 12-foot, right, or maybe a 1/4 scale or like whatever it is.
A quarter scale.
Yeah, like whatever scale. What it used to cost.
12-inch, not 12-foot.
Oh, yeah, no, 12. I said 12 foot. Yeah, 12-inch. Okay, but the thing is, what we used to pay in the past, again, this is not that long ago. We're not saying
exactly.
Back in the 1970s. We're just saying like maybe
10 years ago.
At the most.
10 years ago, we used to pay like again what Louis is saying, $250 or maybe 400.
Yeah,
400.
2 to 4.
Or a really good one.
How do you go from there to all the way to 2,400? Or not, from there all the way to 900
because
like,
they can, because the ones they don't have to answer.
Again, yeah, you can. But what the thing is, we want to. You know what? I want to buy product. I want to buy items from you because you're, whoever it is, Sideshow, Imaginarium, XM, whoever it is. I want to support your company. But how can I when you offer those prices?
Yeah, you're cutting out the people that help make you to begin with.
Yeah, make you.
And that's like the celebrities too, with going to these conventions and charging over several $100s for an autograph. Dude, I made you a millionaire. Me and all these other people made you what you are, and you're charging $600, $1,000 to sign an autograph. It should at least be, hey man, thanks for seeing my movies, thanks for buying my toys, thanks for supporting the brands and then to hear them complain about they don't like being pigeonholed as their character. I played that character once. Don't call me that. And it's just like, that's how I know you, man. I respect you as an artist. I understand that it's very difficult to create that character, but it was such a memorable character that I don't know your first name, but I can say, hey, you were the...
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever that character was. Yeah. And it sucks that they get mad. Don't call me that. And I had that happen when I first met Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca. I didn't know his name. I'm not a Star Wars nerd. Admittedly, I am not a Star Wars nerd. I'm a Star Wars fan. I love the movies. I love dissecting them and listening to the dialogue. I don't know every droid's name. I don't know every actor that plays that part. So I met Peter Mayhew at the first time I went to San Diego. Didn't know his name. And I was like, oh, snap, Chewbacca. He stops. He gives me the look of death and then just keeps going. And I was just like, what the hell did I do? And it's because I didn't know he was Peter Mayhew. I just knew him as Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Peter Mayhew, but that's how that's how much of an impression your character left. I don't know your name, but I know your character. I know your work.
It's just some actors. Some are like that. Some aren't. But you hear more about the ones that are because that makes an impression. Most fans are wanting to think like, wow, that's so and so character. They should. I'm happy to see you. You should be happy. But some of them, the actors are just like, no, like I don't want to be known as that. I don't want to be called that. I don't want to be, thought of that way.
One actress that actually is pretty good about not making a big deal. Mila Kunis. Again, we all know her, Meg from Family Guy, right? And the thing is, she doesn't make a big deal because the thing is, I saw an interview that she did once, and she goes, "Oh yeah, man, I get this all the time." They're like, "Hey, Milas," and it's like, "But shut up, Meg." Right?
Yeah, Family Guy. Shut up,
like,
Meg.
Hey, Milas, what's going on? Shut up, Meg. He was like, okay, yeah, she knows that she's Meg, but the thing is, she knows
she embraces it.
Yeah, she embraces that line because you know what, she's Meg.
See, and that's the thing is that you created such memorable characters. At least appreciate it. And, that you can be polite. You'd be like, I really appreciate that you recognize me from that role, but I am.
I know if I saw, I know if I saw, what's his, the one that played Al.
Yeah, Al Bundy.
Al Bundy.
Ed O'Neill.
Yeah, Ed O'Neill. I know if I saw him, you know what I would say? Hey Ed, or hey Mr. O'Neill, I just gotta get a Wool Bundy.
Wool Bundy.
4 touchdowns, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, hey.
But he's him and other people like that, they usually they're grounded enough to know that's what made them. Okay, like I'll give you for example, Tom Hanks, but 2-time Oscar winner, nominated, been in a ton of normal movies. He's a guy himself who will say, "Yeah, I was in Bachelor Party." That's easily a forgettable movie. He's like, "Yeah, I was in Bachelor Party. I was in Bosom Buddies. I was
Animal
in
House, right?
No, him in Animal
No,
House.
no.
But I'm just they're such bad. Those other two are such bad movies. But he's like, yeah, I was in them. He owns it and doesn't care if you like that he's in those shows or movies.
See, and my kids, if he came to a convention and I took him up to the table, we couldn't name. I can't name his name right now, but my kids would be like, "Oh, he's from Castaway." They love Castaway. I don't know his name in Castaway.
I'm surprised they don't say that's Woody.
That's one of the things I love with my kids is when we're watching a movie and we actually see the voice actor in an actual movie. I was like, "Hey, that's the voice of so and so," and they're like, "What?" It just blows their mind, dude.
They can't wrap that around their head that it's that and that.
Yeah, I did. I think I did that with like the Transformers. We continue to watch the Generation 1 series, on the weekends, and I'm like, "Hey, that voice actor is that what?"
So it's just some, like I said, some actors are cool with it, some aren't, some are just difficult, some are, some embrace it, some love it, it's just Mark Hamill, he loves being Luke Skywalker.
He loves being the Joker.
He loves that too, but he's not a jerk about it. Like if they say, "Hey, Luke," he's not an ass. He's just like, "Hey, what's going on?" or whatever. I'm sure he did to Harrison Ford. And, "Hey, Han, get away from me," or something like that. Something like that would happen. Mark Hamill's not that way. He embraces it fully. Like he knows that's what I'm mostly known for. Yes, I'm the voice of Joker. Yes, I've done this, blah blah blah. But he's not difficult about
He's
it.
even embraced the role that Kevin Smith made for him, Cockknocker.
Yeah, too. Okay, that's what I'm saying. See, he's not like, "Don't bring it up," or "I don't want to talk about it," or something like that. He's like, "Hey, I appreciate it. I'm that person. I played that character. I like who that is. Who I was or whatever." That's the whole point. I don't see why actors get so
bent out of shape.
Yeah, even Sir Patrick Stewart. I read a thing one time. They said, "Well, you don't really like being Picard, even though he's they're
doing it.
And he goes, "No, I love being that." He goes, "I love that I'm Professor X. I love the actors." The characters I portray, even if they're small, not well mainstream like the other ones. That is what you want an actor to be, male, female, handicap, whatever. To say, "Oh, I love being that character," because fans want to hear that. They don't want to hear, "I hated playing that," or "I don't like that," or "Oh yeah, you hate it so much it made you all those millions that you're living in your house," or whatever the case. They don't want to. That's when the sarcasm starts kicking in. They want to hear, "Yeah, I love playing that character. I had a good time in it. I appreciate that you know me as that," or whatever. That's all. It's just.
So as we begin to wrap up this episode, we'll bring it back to how we got into talking about the actors and stuff. And what it was we were talking about the collectible companies, greatly increasing the prices each year, pricing out their season collectors and any potential new collectors. And we were talking about the actors who we made famous. We went to their movies, we supported their brands and their characters. We made them the millions, coming to conventions and overcharging the fans hundreds and thousands of dollars just to meet them, take a picture with them, sign an autograph. Something needs to change across the culture, period, with collectibles, with celebrity appearances, with grading, even comic grading. I mean,
do you think it's the actor, or do you think that's the handler? Or
I always believe it's the manager and the promoter. Just like with Sideshow, it's the distributor and partly the producer. Look at Hot Toys. Hot Toys used to be about $150, and a lot of people could buy it. Then they started jacking it up to $250, $300, $400, and people were like, whoa, I'm not paying statue price for a 1/6 collectible.
Yeah.
And I've said it for a long time.
It's a redo of probably 2 or 3 after a while. It's not like unique or it's the only one after a while.
And I've said that for a long time. I feel like it's a distributor, and I wish I could find the smoking gun that says Hot Toys actually charges $150. When it goes up on Sideshow's site, it's now $250. Hey, Sideshow's
they're
taking
up,
your money.
And then you're up in the price. Yeah, you're not getting it from the source anymore. You're getting it from the distributor.
And that's what the middleman does. But I mean, it's just unacceptable. And, you know, I guess Sideshow sits on their throne because, you know, they're the primary distributor in the United States. And so they're like,
it's like a monopoly, basically.
Yep.
They don't have no competition to tell them not to, or, you know, to keep them in check, I guess.
Well, you know, the thing that's going to happen, again, we're saying that the price is going up. Prime 1 is now, you know, surpassing the 2,000 threshold. And Imaginarium quickly surpassed the 2,000 threshold. So, you know, maybe what'll start happening is...
You know what? As much as I love buying these big statues, I may have to go to the Legacy series. You know, like shoot
the smaller.
And, you know, as much as I don't want to, because again, no, you know, I like my statues to be presentable, but
presents.
Yeah, presents, right?
Yeah.
As a presents,
but not at that.
But not at that price.
Yeah, presents is worth. Yeah.
Shoot.
And then think about that. Think about how many awesome car payments that could be at $2,000, right? If you're buying one statue a month at $2,000.
Hell, not even that. Just think about it like this: $2,000 is a lot of food to some people. Their electric bill, their house payment, their water. I mean, maybe not total, but I'm just saying, added together, you have to make a choice. I'm going to buy a statue for that, or I'm going to pay all these bills. You know, I mean, it comes down to a lot of things like that.
No, I agree. And again, it's a luxury. And it's a privilege, but, you know, again, for season collectors, like all of us, all three of us are collectors. We've collected across the spectrum, whether we started out at 6-inch figures, then we graduated to 12-inch figures, then we graduated to quarter scale, and, you know, half scale. It's a luxury and a privilege that we have, but as the head of the culture, geek culture, I'm looking out for everybody because I know that more people out there would like to be able to have that privilege to own something nice like that. And we see that every time we go to an event. I can't afford it. I don't have the space. Where would I put it? Those are always the three things I said. I'd love to have that. I can't afford it. My wife won't let me have it. I don't know where I'm going to put it.
Yeah.
My parents won't let me have it. So I'm always looking out for the culture because I want them to be able to enjoy these same things. Like, hey, even if you have one, that makes a person feel so much better. Like, man, dude, I got that piece, and yeah, that's an awesome piece. Even if it's their only piece, but they feel included.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's my point. Everybody's included. Everybody's welcome. You know, there's no elitism here. We don't consider ourselves better than you. We're all like you are. We started somewhere, and we got to a certain point. That's the way life is. Started from the bottom. Now we're here. So, again, we appreciate you guys listening in for every one of our show, being faithful, coming out and seeing us at conventions, following us on social media. I appreciate you. I know the rest of the team appreciates you. We look forward to seeing you, hopefully at the Venom screening coming up on October 4th. Go onto our website, geekcultures.com, and you can get your packages there. I actually created 2 other packages, again, have an understanding for the economy. You know, there's the main package. You get a ticket, you get a t-shirt, you get entered into the drawing. That's $30. The set package B is you get a ticket and a t-shirt, but you're not included in the drawing. That's $22. Package C is you get a ticket and you're in the drawing. That's $15. You know, I tried to make it as affordable for everybody. I want you all to be there. Most off, I want to geek out with you geeks at the end of Venom. I want to, you know, they're going to kick us out of the theater. We don't get to sit there and talk about it as much as I'd like to. But as soon as we're done in the lobby hanging out, hey, if you guys want to come talk geek with us, we want to hear what you think. Did you like the movie? What did you think of Venom? What did you think of the other 5 symbiotes? There's a sneak peek. As we close out, I read an article last night that AMC put out, and it was really cool, and it talked about the 5 different symbiotes that should be in. Yeah, I sent it to y'all, right? Did y'all read it?
You got Scream, you got Riot,
Lasher.
Yeah, Lasher.
I tell you folks, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.